You are able to log in? Is everyone, you are able to log in? I am not able to log in. So I'm getting the message like this, you see? I'm getting the message like this. See, I clicked on accept also. See, I'm getting the same message. What I'll do is I'll just try to reach again. In the meanwhile, I don't know what to do. Shall I share the code in this chat? Just 1 minute. See, what I'll do is I'll share the code in this chat. So Everyone is able to download this. Yeah, just download it. I can post in Google Drive also. That Google Classroom. I think now classroom link got changed 1 minute. Huh? No, here also. I don't know what is the issue. Here also the same thing. Okay, no problem. I'll check with Praveen only 1 minute. Huh? All right, not an issue. Okay, so hope you downloaded everyone, right? I uploaded the zip folder in your chat. Hope you downloaded everyone, right? So now till now, so till now, okay. So whatever we have seen now is XML based configuration, right? As I was telling you, remember, See, whatever we are seeing this configuration is XML based configuration till now we have seen. So there is another way to define the configurations. Okay. Now let us see that. Say for example now, let us take our example. Let me open that. So now if you see, so let us take this example. So this is your XML file. This is an example, I mean XML file. Okay. So what is happening now is we are creating an application context. So we're creating an application context, right? And we are passing this XML. So then what will happen now? Your application context will read line by line and create the beans. Beans means we'll create the beans are objects, right? Right. Now, as I was telling you, there are two ways to write the configurations. One is XML, another is Java. Now we are going to see the second way of doing, and this is the way we now from now onwards we go on using till our advanced Spring and all that. Java annotations is the way we are going to see. Okay, so because now everything is annotation based. Okay, now everything is annotation based. Okay. So let me do like this. I'll create one new Maven project. Now from now onwards, we'll say Spring or demo using annotation. Spring core demo using annotation. Now click on finish. Just change this 1.5 version to okay. Now it's not required. Now let it be. We'll see. Now, so whatever now in pom.xml, you just copy this dependency here also. The same. Only thing is now XML will not be there. Okay. Now, so let me have the same beans, whatever your department, employee. Your department ID, department name, employee ID, employee name, phone number, department. Fine. Now, what needs to be added now? In the earlier examples, we have added XML. Now we are not going to add XML. That is the difference now. So instead of using XML, we will use annotations. Okay. So what is an annotation? See, basically, XML based configurations. The configurations are written in XML. Okay, the configurations are written in XML. So Java based configurations are, the configurations are written using annotations, Java annotations. So what is the difference here? The difference is here the configurations follows XML syntax. Here the configurations follow Java syntax. Okay. So this will be easy for Java developers to maintain. Okay. So here the XML will be part of separate file. Here the XML will be part of separate file, right? And here the configuration will be part of separate Java class. Okay. Now, let us see now. Okay, just see the differences. And one more thing is any change to the configuration needs compiling of the code as the configuration is written in Java. Okay. Any change in the configuration does not need compiling because it's an XML file. Because it's an XML file. Just follow this, okay? Just read this once, then I'll start explaining the practicals for this. Right? Now, let us now start. Now, as I told you, in XML config, it's a separate file. Now, in Java-based configuration, you should have a separate Java class. Okay? Just see this point and just see this point. Now, let us know instead of XML file, we have to here now create one separate Java class. So what I'll do, new class. I can give any name to this class, but let me put the name of this class as app config. Let me put the name of this class as app config. Okay. Now, what I'll do is now you just follow this carefully. You know what is annotation? Everyone knows what are annotations. See, annotations are nothing but they always start. See, annotations can be defined. Can be defined at class level, method level, right? Field level. Field means property. Property level. Similarly, method argument level. Method argument or parameter level. Okay, annotations can be defined at class level, method level, field level or property level, method argument or parameter. See, what are annotations means? Annotations describe the, so they describe the metadata. Metadata. See, what do you mean by this, I'll tell you. Suppose I define a class, something like this, class X. And here I define an annotation. Okay. See, I told annotations can be defined at class level, method level, and always remember that annotation starts with @ something like my annotation. Okay, this is my own annotation. I'm just thinking. Okay. So annotation starts with @ Annotation starts with at the rate. Okay. So this is my own annotation. Okay. I'm just telling. Whenever I define like this, so see, this is actually a part of, it is not part of your logic present inside this class. Remember, whatever this annotation I am putting at above this class, that means we are defining something about this class. Okay, we are defining something about this class so that if there can be say kind of a processor, okay, an annotation processor, for example, annotation processor. So this annotation processor can read this annotation, can do something on this. Okay, for example, let us take like this. So let me define like this. Okay, instead of I'll give a correct example. I mean the same concept, but instead of this I'll change the name so that you'll understand clearly. So let us take I have 3 classes, for example. Class X, next class Y, next class Z. Okay. Now I'll create here annotation as at the rate. It is my own annotation. Okay. Just think like this. Gold annotation. Because as I told, right, annotation always starts with at the rate. And here I'll put at the rate silver annotation. Okay, then I'll put here bronze annotation. Okay. So now what will happen is, now you see, now we will write one annotation processor. We will write one annotation processor. And whenever this annotation processor, okay, annotation processor is also one kind of a class. It is a class, okay? It is a class, Java class. Now, when it reads this gold annotation, okay, it can read, okay, annotation processor, it has actually the functionality or the capability to read the annotations. So whenever it reads this gold annotation, okay, it will assign for a gold annotation 100 points. Okay. So when gold annotation is read from class X, it will assign 100 points. Okay. Where it will assign 100 points and store in some database. Okay. Store in database. In database for records, if records it will be useful. Okay. Similarly, when silver annotation is read, for class from class Y, it will assign 100 points, sorry, 50 points, and store in database. Similarly, when bronze annotation is read, it will read from class Z, it will assign 25 points. If you do what it is doing exactly, these annotations are not part of your inside class logic. it is like your, what you say is like, there are decorations to this class. So by seeing this decoration, we can know what is the value of this class. Okay. So these are like decorations. Okay. So by seeing these decorations, okay, by seeing these decorations, we can know the value of this class. So that is the reason annotations are very, very powerful concepts. So that's why if you have these kind of annotations, I mean, this is just an example. Okay. I'm just telling gold, silver, bronze is just an example. Like that, any annotation, okay, that we define at the class level or method level or field or property level or method argument or parameter level, anywhere it can define. Okay. Now I'm defining these are the class level. These are class level annotations because these annotations are put at the class level. Okay. Similarly, we can have at method level or field level or property level also. Okay. So whenever these annotations are put at these different scopes, we can know the value of that particular thing. We'll get that value. And you might ask, what we'll do with that value? So we can do anything with that value. Okay. So like that, annotations are very, very powerful concept. Now whatever the configurations that I define in XML, the same thing if I can define using annotations also. Now I'll tell you now with a simple example. Now we know that this is the XML file, right? Now what I'll do is, as I told you, for every XML file, I mean, there is the equivalent is Java-based configuration where we'll have a separate Java class. So now this is my Java class. Now what I'll do is I'll just say @configuration. And you see, this is part of your Spring Framework annotation. You see, this @configuration is a part of your org.springframework.context.annotation.configuration. Okay, this is a part of that package. Now, what do you mean by this? I'll tell you. Now, you see, now whenever I define like this, now see, just like these are my own annotations. These are my own annotations, and I am writing this annotation processor. And based on these annotations, I'm giving some value to this. Okay. But this is your Spring defined. Okay. This is your Spring defined annotation. Spring defined annotations. And for the Spring defined annotations, who will process these annotations? Because since Spring has defined these annotations, the processors also will be defined by Spring only. So we don't need to write this kind of processors, because since these are my own annotations, I am writing here. But since Spring has defined these annotations, so these annotations are processed by Spring only. And what is the value that is giving? Okay, now as I told you, every annotation gives some value. Okay, now when I define like this @configuration, what value that gives to this class? Okay, so what value this class brings? Okay, now what value this class brings is, see, whenever this annotation is defined, this is Spring defined annotation. Now the Spring inbuilt annotation processor, okay, will actually bring the value to this. Who will bring the value to this? The annotation processor will bring. Now in this case, Spring, okay, our Spring only. So what value this class brings is, so the value this class brings is, so this annotation, okay, will make this class to work like XML configuration. Okay, that means whatever the XML file we define, okay, here, now we don't define now here now. We'll just we'll define a class, and on top of that class, we'll tell configuration. Now when I define like this, now this value that I got, this is equal to the XML structure. This is equal to the XML configuration. So this class plus that annotation is equal to the XML configuration. Now what we do now? Now in XML we define these beans, right? We define these beans. What XML contains? These elements. This is your XML syntax. It starts with an element, ends with an element. It starts with an element, ends with an element. Now, in class, we cannot use this syntax, right? This is an XML syntax. So this is a Java class, right? So now that is the reason I told you. If you see here, the configurations follow XML syntax, but in Java, we follow Java syntax. Okay. Now what we do is, now in class, what will be the class contains? Methods, right? Methods and properties, right? Now in this class, we define the methods, okay, as bean definitions. Okay, like how in XML the bean definitions are defined. That means, for example, let us take this. Now let us take this example. So this is one bean, right? This is one bean. Now for this bean in XML, so we will write method in the Java. Method in the Java. Okay. So where we'll write in the class that is annotated with @configuration. Okay. Now how I'll write now? Let me go to this class, and here I'll say, okay. Now see here. Let us take employee. First I'll take employee. In your XML file, you have defined bean ID equal to employee class equal to that. Now in Java we write a method like public employee. Basically what this does, so this is nothing but creating the bean, right? Your application context will read this line and create the object of this line, right? I mean, create the object of this employee. Create the object of this employee, and that object will be assigned to this reference, right? See, this is as if equal to. See, this is as if equal to. In Java, how we specify? Employee equal to new employee, right? So now this object reference is this one. So this object reference is this one, and we are creating the object of this. Okay, so this is equal to this one. Internally, this is equal to this. Now the same thing now we'll define. How we define in XML, now we'll define in Java like this. So how I'll define now? Okay, public employee. I'll write some method here. And I'll say employee is equal to new employee. And I'll say return employee. I'll say like this. Now what I'll do is just like how you put the bean XML tag here. Okay, the bean XML tag. Okay, this bean XML tag is here, right? So this I'll put in Java as @bean. Now, as I told you, right, this configuration is like a class level annotation. @configuration is class level annotation. Okay, which is equal to the XML configuration defined. Okay. Configuration is class level annotation. Okay. So now this annotation makes class app config. This annotation makes class app config equal to XML configuration. So configuration class annotation. This annotation makes class app config equal to XML configuration. Now this is a class level. This bean is a method level because I'm putting this annotation on the method. Okay. So bean is a method level annotation. Now this annotation makes method. What is the method name? This is the method name, right? Method employee. Okay, to be defined like bean ID, like bean in the XML file. Okay, so this bean is a method level annotation. So this annotation makes method employee to be defined like bean in the XML file. Now you see. Now what will happen now? I'll just show you one simple. Just like in app.java, I create like this, right? In my annotations, I will not go like this. Instead of class path, I'll say, okay, instead of class path, I'll say annotation config. So that means, as I told you, your application context is an interface. Your application context is an interface. In that we have class path XML context. Class path XML application context. Okay. Next is annotation config application context. Okay. Now, just like here in XML, now we'll not have an app context XML, right? Now instead of equal to XML, what is this? App config. Equal to XML, now it is app config dot class. Now it's a class file. Okay. Now what we'll do now, you'll see. Now I'll run this program. So when this program is run, first this line gets executed, right? So what it will do now? So this will be using for XML files. Okay, this while context is created for XML configuration, right? And this context is created for annotation configuration. Okay, context is created for XML configuration, and context is created for annotation configuration. So now what will happen now, you see here. Now when this is getting created, now what it will do, it will now use not XML, it will use app config. Now what is your app config? It will go here. Now this is your app config, right? Right. Now what will happen now, you see. So what will happen now, you see. So whenever this app config is read, okay. So in our application context, reads app config. Okay. Now it will look for the @ configuration defined in the app, defined on the app config class. Okay, it will when an organ reads app, look for the @ configuration defined on the app config class. Right. So when an application reads app config, look for the @ configuration defined on the app config class. Right now, and then once it sees this configuration defined, then means it will now. So when your application context sees this configuration defined, means then it will treat this as a configuration, just like how it treats an XML file. It will treat this as a config lesson. Now, so whenever application reads, can look for the config defined applicant class and treats this class as configuration class. Configuration class. And treats this class as configuration class. So now what we will do now. So whenever applicant reads app panel, look for the @ config defined on the app panel class and treats this class as configuration. Now it will go inside this class. It will go inside this class. And now once it goes inside this class, right? Now it will just like how it is reading line by line of the XML, line by line of the XML now. Now it will read inside the class method by method. Now it will see first method, which is @bean. Okay. Now inside the class, the application context goes inside the class. Inside the class and read method by method. Okay. So if it sees the method, annotated with @bean, then it will treat like bean ID in XML. It will treat like bean ID in XML and then invokes that method. Invokes the method. Who will invoke the method? Remember, very, very important. We are not going to call the method. This method is called, because whenever it sees bean annotation, this method is called by the application context. This method is called by application context. So what will happen when this method is called by application context? The logic inside this method gets executed, right? This is the logic, right? This gets executed. And what this logic does, it is creating an employee object. Okay, that means it is as if creating an employee bean. Okay, now in your JVM, an object is created, which is a bean. Okay, now what is the ID of this bean? If you go in XML, it will be bean ID. Okay, if you go in XML, it is bean ID. But here, the method name is the bean ID. Okay, so the bean ID is the method name. So the bean ID is the method name. That's all. So just like the bean ID by default, we can change this, we can override this, but the bean ID is the method name. Okay. Now according to this, what is your method name? Employee, right? The method name is employee, right? This is the method name, right? So the bean ID will be employee. And remember, this method is called by whom? This method is called by application context. We are not going to call. We are not calling this method. So your application context. So whenever it is getting created, it will go inside this app config. First, it will see configuration is defined. Yes, if it is defined, it will go inside. If it is not defined, it will not go. Okay. If it is defined, it will go inside. Then it will see bean is defined. Yes. Then it will call this method. In that way, it will happen. So your application context will first see this configuration class. If it is defined, it will go inside. Then it will see this bean method. If it is defined, it will call this method. So when this method is called, the logic gets executed. Now let me see here. Now you see. In my app.java, you see. I'll just say like this, okay? Just like how I'm saying here, here I'll give the method name. The method name as this. Okay, employee emp equal to context.getBean of emp. So now let me put this, just print this system dot out dot println of emp. So shall I run this program? Okay, I got the employee. Similarly, can I create the department also? So I'll create one more bean, just like how we are defining bean ID in XML separately. This is one bean ID, this is another one bean ID. In our configuration, we define a separate method. So at the rate bean, here I'll say public department. Okay, here I'm just saying department is equal to new department and say return department. So now what I'll do here, now I'll say department. DEPT is equal to context dot get bean of department. Then I'll say department dot class. Okay, I'll run this program now. Now I have employee, I have department. Right? Now I'll see whether I'm able to get system.out.println emp.get department. Run as Java application. You got null because here we are not seeing the injection. If employee we got department, but where is the auto inject? Where is the injection in XML? If you see, we're injecting like this, right? This is manual wiring. And if you go for auto wiring, we have seen 3 different cases. Auto wiring by name, by type, constructor. But in annotation, where we're injecting, we define the beans. We defined the beans, but we did not inject it, right? We did not injected, but we can inject here like this. I can inject like this. So this is a manual employee dot set a department, and I'll inject this object. See, basically, I'm just defining, but this will be called by application context. Okay, this will be called by your application context. Okay, I mean, this method will be called by application context. So thereby this logic gets executed. Now, if I run this, now I got, it is not null, department object, the same object got injected. But actually, this is not the way we should do. Okay, this is manual wiring, but in annotation, we have very, very good concept, which is called auto wiring. Just like in XML, we have auto wiring by name, by type, by constructor. In annotation, we use auto wiring annotation. That is a very powerful concept, which I'm going to tell. Right. So I'll just tell you now, very simple. Instead of doing like this, go to employee.java. So this employee needs department, right? Just to put here auto wait. Just to put here auto wait. That's all. Now, if you run this program now, see now you got department. See what is happening now, you see here. I'll tell you what is auto wait. See, just like in XML, see in XML, how we define auto wait like this. In XML, if you go here, we defined auto wait like this, right? Remember? But now in place of like this, now we don't have XML, right? In place of like this, we define this. Where is that? We define like this. Okay. So that means now this is equal to whatever we define in the XML. Okay. So if we define, so this is equal to this, right? Now you might see in auto where we have by type, by name, and all that, right? But this is equal to, is it by type or by name? I'll tell you that. In auto, in this XML, we have seen auto where equal to by type, right? Auto where equal to by name. We have seen auto where equal to constructor. Remember, we have seen, right? We have seen all this. Auto where by type, by name, constructor. But now in annotation, I have only this one. Is this equal to by type or by name or by constructor in the XML? That I'll tell you, okay? As of now, you can think like this is equal to by type. Equal to by type. Auto wire equal to by type in XML. But I'll tell you, okay? I'll tell you this. There's a lot of topic to go. So just where I will use this auto wire in my employee class, wherever the object has to be injected, I will use auto wire. For this, not required because these are string sets. So wherever the object has to be injected, that is required. Now you see, just recollect. Whatever the XML here in Java, we use class defined with annotation, right? At the rate configuration. Now, whatever in XML, we have bean IDs, right? Bean ID equal to something like this, right? right? In Java, in Java, this is, in Java, we say this is equal to @bean public employee and here I'll say employee equal to new employee and I'll say return employee. Right? So this XML is equal to this one. Okay. So this element is equal to this one. Now whatever the bean ID, this ID is equal to the method name. So this ID is mapped to the method name. Okay. And the return type of the method is mapped to the classes. So the return type of this method is mapped to class. Right? Now, so then in employee class, I do like this. Right? Which I'll remove. Now this auto while is equal to auto while by equal to type. Okay. Just to see this. Just I'll put here. If you see here, the XML is equal to the class app config. You can give any name here. Annotated with @ configuration. Right? The XML is equal to @ config class app config. And then in XML, whatever we define this bean ID, this is equal to the so this bean element, this is equal to the bean annotation. Bean XML element equal to the bean annotation. Right? And whatever this ID is equal to the method name. So the bean ID is method name. XML is method name. Right? And whatever the return type of the method, the return type of this method is equal to the class. Here you see the class is employee. Here also the class is employee. And whatever I define auto where equal to byte is equal to this auto where annotation. Everyone clear with this different mappings? Any doubts? Any questions, doubts? Good. Everyone understood this? So see, I uploaded this Maven projects, right? You import those projects. Okay, so I think I uploaded this. I uploaded this, just use this. That's what I'm not able to upload in the classroom. I'll check that, okay? I'll check that and update you. Okay. You can give anything here. EMP also you can give. You can return EMP. But the method name, this method name should be bean ID. Here in place of this, you can give EMP, return EMP. See, but this logic, who is calling? Ultimately, your application context is going to call this method so that this bean gets created. Okay, then sure. Okay, thank you. Okay, then. Maven project, I think, see, file new Maven project. Click on next. Select this quick start. Select this quick start. Click on next. Give group ID, artifact ID, package. Click on finish. That's all. Annotation concept is not there. I'll upload tomorrow. Again, I'm telling you, file, new, Maven project. Click on next. Click on this quick start. Click on group ID, artifact ID, package. Select this RC types quick start. Don't take web app, take this quick start. Web app we'll see later. First, take this quick start. Once you click on right, in your pom.xml, just add this dependency. Automatically the jars will be added. Okay then. So just click on file new, Maven project, click on next, quick start. All right then. Thank you all. See you tomorrow. Thank you.